still pretty good.
And on the flip side, are there products beyond kind of not upgrading to premium? Are there products you find the consumer tends to veer towards when the economy maybe begins to slow down? Like, is there a certain...
I think it's just the inverse of what I was describing.
Yeah.
There are just certain categories you can see the mix in. But you also have to be careful. So you try to really clear the noise out. We use data to get through trend changes that we see because we know every member's purchase history. Mm-hmm. We can watch and see if it's an individual change or group of people have changed. And that can tell us if something's going on with the consumer, if it's something that we've done internally.
And we've talked about your efforts at a turnaround, and they seem to be successful, but at the same time, over the past couple of years, one of the questions that will every now and then pop up is, does it make sense for a Walmart and Sam's Club to kind of live independently? That hasn't happened. It doesn't seem like it's happening anytime soon. Should that be something people write off entirely? Could that make sense down the line? How are you thinking about that?
Well, it's not something that, as far as the brands being separate, a couple of years thinking through. What I think through that's important is we run our business in terms of the consumer-facing piece of the business pretty independently. Mm-hmm. And we've got the autonomy to invest where we think it's important. And like I said, we've invested in merchants, we've invested in key positions, we've invested in products. And that's really what we're focused on. We're focused on making sure we're running the business the best we can for members each and every day.
So from a business perspective, it maybe wouldn't make sense to split the two?
We've got a lot of leverage being part of the larger group. There's certain capabilities we leverage in infrastructure, our supply chain, and those really help us run our business really efficiently.
Great. That's it. Thank you, everyone, for joining. Thank you, John, for your time.
Thank you. All right.
Thank you, John and Lauren. And now, our first keynote of the day. Please welcome the CEO of Sam's Club, John Furner. Interviewed retail reporter at CNBC, Lauren Hirsch.
Hello, everyone. Thanks for joining us. John, you were here recently seeing Def Leppard. Thanks for coming back. So the past couple of years there's been a lot going on. You've closed about 10% of your stores. You invested a ton in e-commerce. Tell the crowd a little bit about how you guys are thinking about your turnaround and what's of highest importance to you.
Sure. Well, let me start and just frame up who we are and what we do. Sam's Club is in the United States. We've got a retailer. We've got about 600 locations. We're a membership format. And we've made some changes the last couple of years, as you said. So a couple of years ago, we decided to really make sure we understood who our core consumer is, what they do, and what they expect from us. And that resulted in a bit of work that caused us to narrow our focus. And we chose a target consumer that's a homeowner. It's a homeowner who earns somewhere between $75,000 and $125,000 a year, typically own a couple of cars. And that resulted in us really narrowing the strategy down in terms of merchandising, technology, our footprint, which led to the changes that we made starting early 2017.
And talk a bit about that. So I mentioned the store closures. You closed a bunch. You converted a couple, I think, to e-commerce centers. Help us understand how that fits into your broader strategy.
Yeah, sure. So the day, as I mentioned, is 600 locations, and there were a number of those that we converted to fulfillment centers. Mm-hmm. And what's leading the change for us was the change in the way our core consumer shops. Mm. So the consumer today is obviously looking for great quality. They're looking for a great value, which we offer, but they want it delivered or fulfilled on their terms. So we thought it was important that, first we are an environment that you can shop in, but we wanted to be able to deliver to home effectively, and having a number of centers with the core narrow assortment close to the customer all over the United States was important. Mm-hmm. We have a pickup business that's going well, and then we also have the ability with the partner Instacart to be able to deliver to home.
And as you've been closing and retrofitting, you've added a bunch of e-commerce options. Let me know if I've forgotten anything. You've launched same-day nationwide pickup. You have the Sam's Garage app, Sam's Club Now, which is your innovation lab.
Right.
What is of biggest importance to you guys? Are you placing a bet? We kind of spoke about this, but are you placing a single bet? Are you kind of sowing a couple of seeds? How are you thinking about your e-commerce development?
Yeah, one of the pieces of strategy, and we think about the business in three ways. First, we want to support our people all over the business. Mm-hmm. We want to be great product merchants. And then the third is building digital capabilities. And so I'd say the answer is there's not one single digital capability that matters. What we're trying to do is understand the ways in which we can reduce friction for our core shopper and also for the people that work in all of our buildings. The buildings include the fulfillment centers, the clubs, the innovation lab, Sam's Club now in Dallas. And so what we've done with the location there in Dallas is we've carved out space where we can experiment, learn, innovate with real customers, with real members who can provide us feedback. And from there, we can end up building a library of technologies and products that can help us serve members in new ways that perhaps we hadn't thought of. Certainly some have worked. You mentioned a couple like Sam's Club Garage. Scan and Go is a big one. The entire location runs on the mobile platform. And then there are others that we'll learn, and they may be applicable at some time down the road in the future.
Is there anything that so far has stuck out that you're like, well, that surprised me. I didn't expect that. That was something new and interesting.
Yeah, a couple things. The use of augmented reality inside the lab has been great. Consumers are looking for more information now than they've ever had before. One of the things we were talking about earlier is, what's most important to a consumer? And when you're thinking about us, it's our consumer today, including all generations that shop with us, they have more access to information than they've ever had before. And gaining access to that information is important. And what we did in Sam's Club now with augmented reality helps make getting to the information about the product, where it came from or how it was made or the recipe, we make it fun, and then we therefore empower a consumer to get to exactly it is what they're looking for.
And maybe you can tell, for those of us who don't know, a little bit about what your augmented reality approach is and the options that are in Sam's Club or will be in Sam's Club.
Yes, we have a variety of things. In our core app, if you want to look at furniture and place it in your room, you can do that and decide if you think it would look great. If you're in the location, what we've experimented with, you can see certain products, and then you can decide if you want to see the sourcing story, where it came from and how it was developed, if you want to see how it works. Another thing we've done is offer things that make the environment fun for kids. One of the products is you turn the device over to a shopping cart, and you can turn the shopping cart into a pirate ship and take pictures of yourself and send it to yourself. So, it's great for mom who's got a couple babies in the cart, because she can get on with what she's trying to do and make the kids happy.
Yeah.
Right.
So you mentioned Instacart. One of the things I find interesting is even though you are part of the Walmart family, you guys seem to have a slightly different e-commerce approach. Walmart does not use Instacart. You do. Why month for you, but not for them?
Well, as I said, when we looked at our business 2.5 years ago, the first was deciding, number one, who the shopper is and what they're looking for. And we are really open at Sam's